The Mavs just stole home court advantage from the Wolves in a hard-fought Game 1, and the key in such a big win was none other than the historic 1-2 punch of Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. A large portion of Dallas's offense starts with Luka running spread pick and roll, and Minnesota opened with Gobert in deep drop coverage while McDaniel stays glued over the top of the screen, basically forcing Luka to play in between. He puts Jaden in jail, slowly works his way to the paint, and gets to a floater. His in-between game is among the best in the league, and it starts with his patience. He knows that Jaden will be flying in from behind, so he waits to use that momentum against him before using an up fake to set up another floater. Here's another example. This time it's Alexander Walker who he puts in jail as he gets to the paint, and the way he's slowly operating mesmerizes the eyes of Anthony Edwards. You can't get caught ball watching against a passer like Luka. It didn't matter who they put on him. This time it's Kyle Anderson, and he fakes a step back three to lose him, setting up a give and go with Lively in the middle as he continues to methodically work his way to the basket. To start the second quarter, the Wolves finally adjusted their coverage, bringing Gobert up to the level of the screen, to which Luka counters with a beautiful assist. This is where he makes defenses pick their poison. Reed jumps out to him near half court, leaving that shovel pass to Lively available, and from there the big man can attack a defense 4-on-3 as he steps into a layup. Again, what really stands out is the patience. Once that blitz comes out to him 40 feet out, he doesn't react by immediately giving up the ball, instead waiting for the perfect moment to ensure that they get a good opportunity, although Washington's unable to knock this one down. Some of these advantages that he creates are really subtle, like here he draws two, creates an angle to the short roll, and the key here is that the initial coverage brought Towns over from the weak side. Now when the ball starts moving, it's a tough rotation to get back to the corner, and Washington attacks a closeout on a baseline drive. In addition to the automatic advantages out of the pick and roll, Luka's a walking mismatch one-on-one. They clear out for him to isolate Edwards, and he goes right through his chest for 2 points and a foul. Then just a minute later, he sets up again from the top of the key, spins past him like he's a chair in drills before finishing through traffic at the rim. Again, it doesn't matter who stands in front of him, he's a historically great isolationist, and as soon as that extra help comes, he's dropping it off to Lively for easy points. Luka didn't shoot too well from three, so his percentages weren't great, but he had 14 points and 5 assists in the first half and was clearly in control of the game. Still, he wasn't even their most lethal weapon. The staple of this Minnesota defense is their rim protection, size, athleticism, positioning, and the best way to counter that is the short mid-range. This is where Kyrie comes in. When he beats his man on a backdoor cut and Gobert steps over, he can stop short for a floater. The short mid-range is his bread and butter, so in many ways this defense simply doesn't affect him. Gobert still dropping in pick and roll, he gets to another soft touch floater, but more importantly than anything, Edwards could not contain him off the dribble. On this one, he's about to set up the two-man game when he instead rejects the screen, and that leaves him with a ton of space to get to the rim. This time it's a perimeter isolation from way out near the logo, using a simple hesitation to get the step on a drive, then to counter rim protection. I'm sure you get the idea. Where Kyrie really made a living in this game though was in early offense, playing with pace to attack an unset defense and showcasing his unrivaled touch. The downside of having so much size on the floor if you're Minnesota is that at times it can sacrifice speed. So when you're dealing with a guard who's constantly looking to run, that can create some problems. And even when they're in perfect position, like here Gobert's right there with Kyrie every step of the way, we're talking about one of the best rim finishers in NBA history. There isn't a release angle he's uncomfortable going to, and his balance is off the charts good, meaning that even physical defense can't really throw him off. He only attempted 1 3 in the first half, yet ended with 24 points on 11 of 14 shooting. Just a complete masterclass. And he picked up right where he left off to start the third, a pick and roll in early offense where he attacks that drop coverage on a drive before lobbing it up to Gafford. Next time down it's Luka who's going to set up the pick and roll, and it looks a little different but ultimately is the same thing, using that space to attack the drop, forcing Gobert to commit, then leaving it for Gafford up top. I want to be clear though, this isn't a case of your turn, my turn offense. It's a lot more free-flowing and versatile than that, and a big part of the reason is how good Kyrie is at playing away from the ball. Here he quickly attacks off the catch and drops it off to Gafford, who's absolutely feasting in that paint. Occasionally you'll see them start Luka off ball and bring him into the primary action with some movement. This time it's to set up the pick and roll, and Gobert's still in that drop, so he'll patiently play in between as he hunts for a mid-range jumper. Then when it's Cat defending the action, he's going to come up to the level in that more aggressive coverage, to which Luka creates a wide open three. Once again, Washington can't take advantage, but the key is that they're getting pretty much whatever they want. When Cat hedges against Kyrie, he turns the corner and easily beats him in space as he gets to a floater with the offhand. And in an effort to slow Kyrie down in the second half, the defense started to shift a little more towards him. You can see Edwards creeping over to the middle, which leaves an easy pass to Josh Green on the wing for yet another great look from three that doesn't drop. Actually, I think now's a good time to mention that as a team, they shot just 6 of 25 or 24% from three, meaning that they had to get almost everything inside the arc, and who better than Luka to attack downhill? Gobert's in a 2-on-1 situation and nobody helps the helper, so Gafford's got another freebie. Luka's momentum carried right into the fourth, where it was time for a complete takeover. He continues to make the defense pick their poison. Take away all of his passing outlets? Fine, he'll do it himself. The craziest part is how easy and routine he made it all look. Gobert in drop, McDaniels on his back, just surgically dicing them up from the mid-range. The defense looked truly helpless. This time Rudy tries to bait Luka by faking an aggressive coverage before dropping, but he's unfazed, and the only way McDaniels can recover from behind is by sending him to the line. Luka also mixed up his attack. All night long he'd been coming off the screen slowly and operating in between, but to throw the defense off, he comes off this one with speed and drives right at Gobert to draw some more free throws. When it's Towns, again he's jumping out to the ball, and like clockwork, Luka puts the defense in rotation. They end up with a great look from the corner. Minnesota is very lucky that these shooters weren't hitting. But because they weren't hitting, Luka had to do it himself down the stretch. Trailing by 4 with 3 minutes to go, he hits an absolutely crucial step back three. Then within the final minute, he shows how unfazed he is by the ball pressure of Jaden McDaniels as he takes him one-on-one, drives, and uses a shoulder bump to create space for what would ultimately be the dagger. They ended up winning by 3 in a game that you could argue they had no business being in. I mentioned the poor three-point shooting. Well, they also didn't really get much contribution from any of the supporting players, while the Wolves had big games from multiple role guys. It really came down to star power. Luka and Kyrie both had 30 balls, combining for 63 points, and they assisted on 25 more, meaning that they either scored or assisted on 88 of Dallas's 108 points. That doesn't even account for hockey assists or free throws created either, a truly remarkable performance from the duo. A majority of that offense came in the paint, 62 points to be exact, and that included everything from lobs to crafty layups to short mid-range shots within 6 to 10 feet. They took the league's best paint defense, turned it into a non-factor, and now hold a 1-0 lead in the conference finals. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and turn my post notifications on to be first on more content. If you're interested in my more in-depth research, make sure to check out my website and social media profiles. You can find those links in the description. Feel free to let me know down in the comments what you thought of this game. As always, I hope you all have a great day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.